Kyk jy na dieselfde ster vanaand as ek met my oë toe is ek en jy op dieselfde plek en ek verlang want ek wil al by jou wees.
Today my guest is one of South Africa's rising stars, ALIDA, and she will be sharing her testimony with us, so stay tuned. Okay, so with me here I've got ALIDA, all the way from Pretoria, South Africa. ALIDA, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. It's such an honor to be part of this.
You're my first guest on the podcast, and you're also the first cover of the TWEENTALK magazine, so a lot of first for you. Yeah, Tween Xstream.
I'm so excited, and I'm so honored to be on the first cover, and yeah, it really means a lot.
So just for the international viewers, both of us are Afrikaans, so if we struggle with the English and if we have a hectic accent, please forgive us. We are struggling through this interview, but we want to make it so that everyone across the globe can understand and also hear ALIDA's testimony. But so please stay tuned for ALIDA's testimony. We're going to talk about it later on in this podcast. I think it's something that everyone needs to hear. But before we get to that, ALIDA, we just spoke off air. We know each other now for almost 10 years. How old were you when you joined Victory 5?
I was 14 years old, if I'm not mistaken. I was grade 8, so yeah.
So you almost grew up in front of me. So
how old I actually am.
So just quickly, who is ALIDA? Where did everything start for you? Just before we get to the testimony and your singing career, just who is ALIDA?
Okay, so well, I'm gonna say that I started singing when I was 9. So ALIDA is music and singing, and so it came from a very young age. But I am currently a B.Ed Foundation phase student. I also work at a school. Have a lot of, I want to say, side gigs, if that's the right terminology. I also au pair. But I think if you ask me who's ALIDA, I'm going to tell you that it's music. I started singing when I was 9. I never gave up, and here I am, almost turning 24, and I'm still singing, and music is still part of my everyday life.
So why music? What was it about music as a young girl that just thought, this is what I want to do? Was it maybe an artist that you looked up to, or what was it? Why did you want to become a singer one day?
So I grew up with music in the house. We have, I want to say, a lot of musicians in the family. My parents played instruments. My grandfather is an amazing pianist, and it's just, I grew up with music. My dad always played music. When we got home, that was the first thing that was turned on in the afternoons, or the radio. And I just love music. I mean, I think for me, one of the worst things is to sit in a quiet room or to sit in silence. When I get into my car, before going to work in the mornings or going home in the afternoons, the first thing I do is I go into my music app and I play music. So it's just something I feel like everyone can relate to. You don't have to be, I want to say, music's a universal language. You don't even have to listen to music with words. It can still be beautiful. Yeah.
And I remember back, we'll talk about Victory 5 just in a moment, but back with Victory 5, I remember your dad had one massive CD collection. How big is his CD collection?
I think he's currently on almost 2,500 CDs, if I'm not mistaken.
And does he still buy CDs, or now with Spotify, how does it work now?
No. So with all the music stores and CD shops closing down now, we go from second-hand store to second-hand store to make sure we go through all the CDs. Now, if you've been to one, you get like from the most classical music to the most rockish, like the variety there, they're like crazy, and we go through every single CD. If there's 10 of them, we go through all 10 of them. If there's 10,000, we go through all of them.
Yeah, it's
so still buy CDs, and he still does not have any digital subscription to any musical channel. He does it on the CD, and that's it.
I'm exactly like your dad. I'm still buying CDs. There's just something about buying a CD, opening it up, read the lyrics inside. There's just something about it that I don't know. Digital just doesn't have the same feel. But I'm old school, so I'm like your dad.
I agree. You know that I think one of my biggest dreams is to one day have my own CD, and not just on Spotify and iTunes, but I want to physically have the CD in my hand and take a picture with my CD. I think that's the biggest dreams, and I don't think it's something I will ever make peace with. I'll do it, and I'm really hoping that I can achieve that.
There's no feeling like holding your first CD for the first time. It's just a great feeling. But fast forward, then you joined Victory 5. So Victory 5 is a Christian pop group that I started in 2013. So it was South Africa's first Christian pop group. And so tell me a bit more about that experience. Because I've got a lot of memories, but I'd like to hear from you.
I know. I always say that was my childhood. That was where I could just be a kid, not worry about other people. I actually get emotional to think that the 5 of us, we still have contact, but we don't see each other that often. But that was family. I mean, we got up on a Sunday, and then we drove through for rehearsals, and the girls, the 3 of us, we got so close. It wasn't friends anymore. It was, I want to say, a sisterhood. And Justin and Dylan became brothers to me. And I had so much fun. We made videos, and we laughed, and we stayed up through the night and made you guys play. And I can't explain what it felt like. Having people you can trust, not like, I think for me, one of the biggest things is loyalty and having loyal friends. And here we got into this group. I mean, 2 of us knew each other. The rest was strangers. I mean, when I walked in there, it was 3 strangers sitting in a room. Yeah. And it was like we had, the 5 of us had an instant connection. And we started with stupid inside jokes, going to our first interview and still not really knowing each other. And the person doing the interview asked us how often we see each other, and we're like, I think this time we've seen each other. This is our first interview as a group. So we ended seeing each other each weekend, having braais, just having fun. I can't explain that feeling, but that was the first time in my life where I want to say I had the pleasure and the honor to have friends and people so close to me, and people that don't judge. You can just be yourself. Don't have to worry. You can make jokes, and you know me. I'm geeky, weird, awkward, everything at the same time. And having people accept me for who I am, I can't explain that. And I wish that every teen every kid, no matter what their age or any person on earth, can have that
childhood, almost,
of acceptance, because it's not just the younger people, but even now going into the adult life, going to work, there's still this longing for acceptance in everyone, and I every day in my everyday life.
As the manager of Victory 5, one of my biggest challenges was we were the first in South Africa, and a lot of churches didn't understand kids ministering. How did you experience that as one of the kids that stood on stage? I remember when we were in Marble Hall, one of the young girls came to you and asked for prayer. So as a kid back then, how did you experience it?
I think now I understand it better, because I have been till recently I was still working at a church with the children and stuff. But when we were in the group, I don't think we realized what, I want to say, I know the right Afrikaans word, but now I can't think of the English word. But I didn't see the gap, that where people weren't informed about what they had to teach the children, where now we have all these resources. And I mean, last year we bought a curriculum for the Sunday school at church, where then when we went there, it was a once-off occurrence. We went there. Oh, okay, people contacted us. They do children ministry. We're going to get all the kids together. They didn't have like structured Sunday school or a place for the children to go. There was a churches we went where they did have like a proper Sunday school where kids go while their parents is in the main service. But I know so many, I mean, that one where the girl came to me to pray, they didn't really have a proper, I want to say Sunday school. I mean, they did have something, but we went into and I think that's where we made a difference, and that's where we came and showed people that it is so important to focus on the youth, because everyone grows up, but if the foundation in our youth isn't sturdy and well, how are they going to be when they grow up?
And the amazing thing, I don't think we realized the impact we had on the kids. We were on stage, we sang a few songs and got off and went home almost. And Justin WhatsApped me recently, I think end of last year. So it was a few months ago. He WhatsApped me a message that someone, he met someone somewhere that was at a Victory 5 concert and said, you guys meant so much for me, and big fan. And we don't hear those things, but now almost 5-6 years later, someone come up to us.
You sent me a screenshot of the message he got. I think he got it on Instagram, and I was also like, it's actually so amazing. I think the first time I realized the impact we had in people's life, we were in Cullinan for the show. And Bill came to me. I mean, I was 15, 16 years old. I knew what I knew. I wasn't an adult. Didn't have that much of a life experience. I had what I went through. And she came to me and asked me to pray for her. And I'm like, what can I pray for? Very upbeat. And she told me her story about her mom and dad passing when she was, I think, 13. Her brother was, I think, 4 or 5. Her sister was also an infant. And they stayed with her grandmother, and they came to the show because the church invited them. And the night before, her grandma passed. And because she turned 18 a month prior to her grandmother's passing, she was the legal guardian to her 2 younger siblings that were still in school.
Yeah.
She was the, and that night when we went home, I told my mom, how does something like that happen to someone? How can she come to me, someone that's 2-3 years younger than her, and she trusts me enough to tell me this? She doesn't know me from anywhere. She knows, seeing my picture on a poster that they put up in the area, and that's when I realized that our music, our testimony, and our presence in people's life is actually much bigger than we anticipated.
Yeah.
I don't think till that moment I realized how serious it was what we were doing, because we had such a big responsibility towards the people around us, because we were literally not like a doctor or anything, but we literally had their lives in our hands for that time we were performing.
Yeah.
I don't think people realize how vulnerable it is when you praise and worship and you give over to God. And here we are on stage performing, having the time of our lives, but in the audience there's people dealing with so much more than we could ever imagine, and they trust us enough to share their stories. And that's when I realized, like, we're in serious business.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't just for fun anymore. We have like the biggest responsibility to our people. I don't want to call them fam. I say our family, because we're all family in Christ. So yeah, I think after like those 2 gigs and the one even in Marble Hall where I just realized she just turned 18. She's 30 this year.
Yeah.
She was in primary school when this happened. And she came to me and asked me, she wanted to give her heart to the Lord. And that's a big thing.
Yeah.
And so I think those 2, occurrences, like, it made me realize what we were actually doing.
Yeah. Okay, we're just going to take a quick break, and after the break we're going to listen to your testimony and we're going to chat more with ALIDA, so stay tuned. Do you struggle to find good, clean entertainment for your kids? Looking for Christian content your kids will actually love? Well, we have some great news. It's time to shake things up with Tween Xstream, South Africa's leading Christian platform for kids. Your kids will laugh. They will dance. They will be totally hooked. Don't you hate it when you talk to someone that is glued to their cell phones? And if you can't go to church on Sundays, then Children's World from Christian Family Church International has got you covered with new Sunday school lessons every Sunday morning. So don't get caught sleeping. There are loads of entertainment your kids will enjoy. From TV shows and animations, music videos and karaoke, virtual reality concerts, weekly devotionals, and praise and worship. All of this in one place. So buckle up and experience a whole new world of Christian kids entertainment. Don't miss out. Visit www.tweenxstream.com today to sign up.
I'm on top of the world.
Okay, welcome back, and with me I have ALIDA. And so ALIDA, before the break we just quickly talked about just who you are and your days with Victory 5. So now you are a grown woman and now you've got your solo career. Tell me a bit more about that journey, where you started off with 4 kids next to you on stage, and then all of a sudden you're all on your own, and where I used to write and produce the music, now that is in your hand. Tell me about that whole shift and your experience as a solo artist now.
Yeah, so prior to Victory 5, I did do solo stuff, but never in a
professional way.
Professional manner. Did shows here and there. Always said that they can pay me with a plate of food and a marshmallow stampy. But then I joined Victory 5, and then after that, I decided to go into my career fully. I think I was about 16, so it was still in between being in the band. I think it wasn't really a decision. It was something I knew. I knew that I was destined to sing, and I knew that I wanted to sing. So it wasn't really a hard decision to make. And now I am responsible for all my own material. I'm going to say that's quite scary. But I enjoy the creative process of everything. Not just now, but a year ago, I launched my first single that I wrote. Okay. Had two previous singles that one I worked on with someone, and the other one was written for me. But the last single was a song I wrote all by myself. I did have help because, as you all know now, I like talking a lot, and that was reflecting in my lyrics. I had 3 minutes to sing a song, and I wanted to put in 6 minutes words. So someone helped me, and Rue helped me to just structure my song and everything. And I've been in the music industry since the age of 16. Well, in solo, as solo artist, and then prior with Victory 5. So it's almost, I think, 8 years now.
Sure. Okay, so when you were small, you wanted to become a singer, and then something happens. Tell us a little bit about that.
So kids always say, I want to become a teacher, or I want to become a lawyer, or whatever. And I always said I wanted to become a singer. Unfortunately, at a young age, my hearing problem started. As a child, I loved water. I still do. I loved swimming and running through the sprayers while my friends were doing the yard work. And so I was always in water. And I think, one thing we realized how much I loved water was my mom and dad bought a new house, and we were fixing it up, and they got a pool, and they fixed up the pool. And if you know South Africa, our winter is at its coldest between June, July, and the pool was finished in that time, and I swam. And I was shivering, but I went into the pool. I didn't swim. I stood in the pool and froze. So I really love water, and because of that, my hearing problem started. And then between the middle of my grade 1 to grade 2 year, I had 24 ear operations and ear procedures. And then between grade 2 and 4, again, 12 ear ops and procedures. So in total, it was 24. So not just operations, but procedures where they have to clean out my ears. That was the most traumatic experience I have ever experienced during the ear problems. I also had meningitis at the age of 10. And then things started going better. Also, I had a stroke at the age of 13 because of bullying and people targeting me because of the singing. But in grade 6, I started complaining that I couldn't hear, and I had to ask my parents to turn up the TV and to speak louder, and everyone around me literally had to shout for me to hear. And my mom decided to try and get an appointment at Dr. Carpenter's Link, and he was full. He was fully booked. They said they could put us on the waiting list. And my mom said, please, she's going to try and make another plan, but please, if they have any cancellations, like, this is serious. Like, I want to say this is life or death, because for me, losing my hearing, that means I can't sing.
Yeah.
So for me, it was everything. And I think that was the Friday, and the Monday they phoned my mom, and I think my appointment was on the Wednesday, so someone cancelled. We went there, they did hearing tests, they did scans, like everything they possibly could do to check my ears. They did, and I had severe hearing loss. And the doctor never spoke to me because, I mean, I'm 12 years old. What do I know? Yeah. So he always spoke to my parents, and the first words he said to me was, Alida, just remember, I can fix your ears, but I'll never be able to bring your hearing. And that was tough words to hear. And he gave me antibiotics and everything to prep me for the operation. And I had 2 weeks where I had to take the medicine, everything. We went back in the second week for the pre-op stuff, and so that he can just check everything again, talk me through the procedure. They were going to do a mastectomy, so yeah, people can just go YouTube it. But I just firmly believe that why would God give me this talent? Take it away. I couldn't accept that, and then we started praying. I believed that He was going to heal my ear. We prayed, and we did literally everything in our power to pray and to talk to God about the situation. And we went back, and they did all the tests and all the scans again, and there was absolutely nothing wrong with my ears. No damage. The doctor explained that when a baby's born, he has certain light percentage in his ears or her ears, and mine was like a newborn baby. Sure. So God literally reformed my ears.
Do you know how much percentage-wise, how much hearing you had when you lost your hearing?
I think it was 20%. He said 20%, so it wasn't much. I could hear, but it was like talking to someone when they close their ears. So it was a very hollow sound. It was like, I want to say like a white noise, and then someone talked over the white noise. So yeah, it was a very dull.
Was it deteriorating, getting worse, or?
So it was. So the doctor told me, so what they were going to do with the procedure was they were the little bones in your ear that makes everything work and like help you hear. Mine was like gone. There was nothing. They were non-existent. So what they were going to do, they were going to take out all the little pieces that was left and then replace it with plastic or not sure what material, but replace it with fake stuff. So and he literally said he can fix my ears, but he can't bring back my hearing. And then they also said later we could maybe, depending on how the operation went, we can look at getting the implant to see if it would work. But they weren't sure if I was going to be a candidate for that.
Sure. And now God healed you. What was, obviously you were thankful. I can't think how anyone else would respond, but what was the lesson that you've learned through that? I know you were young, but looking back, what was the thing that you've learned through that experience that you can tell other people?
I would definitely say that never give up. no matter what your circumstances, no matter what you're going through, God has a plan. And now you can't see what his bigger picture is, but he knows best. So just trust the process. Rush things and just hold on to God. Yeah, I think I just feel like a very big explanation for just saying trust the Lord and just hold on to him.
And your parents, I remember as a child, I was also very ill with my asthma. I was in hospital probably almost every month. So I know the stress it had on my parents. I mean, I've spent so many birthdays in hospital. So for your parents, how did they cope? How did they, were they just the strong ones and you never saw them panicking, stressing, or?
I would say, I think they never, I think they tried to the best of their abilities never to show me they worried or so. But there's two specific scenarios I can remember as if it was yesterday. So when I got meningitis and my mom phoned my dad, the first time I got to, and the first memory after waking up in hospital after that was my dad telling me that when my mom phoned him and she told him that I had meningitis, he could literally tell her my age, how many hours, how many minutes, was since my birth. So he could tell you every detail of how old I was at that stage. And then another thing was, when I was in hospital, my mom never ate. And there was one night, my grandparents came to the hospital and they brought me a teddy bear. And they literally forced my mom to get into the car to go home to make sure that she gets something to eat. So they never showed me, but those little things, now that I'm older, I realize what that impact was on their life.
Yeah. And now you're living your dream. So how, obviously you're going to make the best of it, because I think you know that you've been given a second chance. So how, if you can explain in a few words how you're taking on this how can I put it? You've been given a second chance. So how are you grabbing it, making use of it?
It's not how I'm going to grab it. I don't care if they want me, but they're going to get me. As a choice. I'm going to sing if they want me or not.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing. Having a dream for so long, I mean, since I can remember, I think from the age of 3, I knew I was going to sing. So for me, saying that, I'm going to watch where it goes, that's not in my vocabulary. I'm not going to say that. I know what I want. And I don't care what it takes to get there, but I'm going to do it. But I also know that I have a calling on my life, because I have received word and people has told me that that is what you're destined to do. So even though I still have to make decisions and I still have to choose stuff in life, I know that God is going to open the right doors at the right time for me to pursue my dreams. So, but world, if you want me or not, I come.
And then lastly, what are your dreams? I mean, if you could say now, if you were given full control over your career, I know it's hard work and sometimes not everything is in our control or in our hands, but if you were given full control and you could say, this is what I want to do right now, what do you want to do with your career? What do you want to achieve? Where do you see yourself in the future?
In a very big house. No, I'm just Definitely, okay, so the South African people will know, but definitely ALIDA'S, that's the big Afrikaans festival South Africa, well, in the world.
It's Afrikaans Woodstock.
Yeah, and but Coachella, I don't know, something like that. And then I definitely want to sing at Afrikaans is Groot. So that is like our biggest concert. I would say that is like singing at Madison Square Garden for international people. And then definitely being able to hold my first album in my hands and to have my physical CD and product to show to the world. So
even if there's no CD stores that will that can sell it, you still want to have that physical CD.
If this isn't in the working for the next 2 years, we're gonna buy the stuff now, and I will keep it in a little container in a box for the day I have enough music to put on a CD and do a full design. I'm gonna put it on a CD, but I will have my CD in my hand.
Yeah.
Now I think and I think if I had the power to inspire kids and to give them, the right word isn't loyal, to give them a stable person to I don't want to say look up to, it sounds like someone they can relate to and someone they can see that if you have a dream from a young age, just hold on to it. And it's not going to happen overnight. You're going to have to work. And I really want to say it takes a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. It's not easy. So, I think that, that is my story. In Afrikaans, fluit, my story is out.
Whistle, whistle, my story is out. It just doesn't sound the same in English.
Terrible.
But anyways, ALIDA, thanks so much for sharing your testimony with us and appearing on the first cover of Tween Talk. So Tween Talk magazine is absolutely free. I'll put a link in the description below. So parents, go and give the link to your kids. I'm sure they will enjoy it. But anyways, ALIDA, all the best for the future. And I'm sure I'm going to see a lot of you still on stage and on TV and stuff.
Thank you, and thank you, Jon, for your constant support and always being there, for trusting me to do this. I really appreciate it, and to the next 110 years with this crazy redhead.
Okay, so guys, thank you so much for joining this first episode of the podcast. I can't wait for the next one. So make sure you hit the subscribe button so that you guys can stay in the loop. Also click on that little notification bell so that you can stay notified when I upload new videos. So from me and ALIDA, till next time, God bless and goodbye.